So these are going to be my predictions for 2025. And I'll give a moment or so for people to jump on to the live and perhaps say hello as you're tuning in to this live stream of predictions for this coming year. Now, if you've not noticed the profound shifts and changes that have been occurring on the planet, you've been living under a rock. And I would imagine that most people that are tuning into this video today, this live stream, will be aware of the significant times that we find ourselves in at the moment. We're really shifting out of a, a very dark era, a very dark time for humanity into a much lighter reality. In astrology, this is moving from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. So it's the age of knowledge, enlightenment, revealings. It's also about a structure of reality crumbling. We're starting to witness that crumbling. I think it started with the mainstream media, didn't it? People stopped believing what they were hearing, what they were being told by a mainstream institution. They started to search, they started to go elsewhere for knowledge and information because the narratives that they were being fed were not making sense. And hello to Janice and Tammy and Aaron, welcome. We're talking predictions today. We're talking predictions for 2025. This year is all about ascension, renewal. In the Chinese zodiac, it's the year of the snake, shedding the old skin and emerging into something new. This is happening not only on an individual level, it's happening collectively. We're seeing it with changes in politics. We're seeing it globally with politics. We're seeing a movement towards populism, right-wing populism across Europe. This is also going to have an effect in the United Kingdom. There's going to be more protesting over there because people are being shown the truth and they're getting quite loud when they see that they've been lied to. So this is having a huge effect. Someone has said, I am Aquarius in my chart. Hello to Kelly there. I want to bring it over to America now. It's about 15 or so days, 16 days in the US till the inauguration of the Trump administration. Now, if you're a political person or not, politics affects us all. And that's why I want to look at it for a moment here. What is happening with this new administration? Although they are not the savior figures, they represent an energy that is emerging on the planet, an energy that cannot be stopped. It's not an energy from one particular individual. It's a rising of human consciousness and awareness. And that's going to move through individuals that aren't in opposition to it. Those that are in opposition to this arising consciousness, this new reality that we're stepping into, will have to step out of the way, either willfully or unwillfully, because it's not conducive anymore energetically for them to be around. The consciousness of the planet is raising so much is that those that have perhaps hoodwinked us and deceived us don't have that same power anymore, because we are seeing from a higher perspective as our consciousness has been ever evolving. What will happen at the beginning of the Trump administration? There's going to be resistance to some of the picks of President Trump. I don't see them not getting in, but there will certainly be resistance, because why? We look at JFK Jr. He's going to really shake up the system, isn't he? He's going to, one of the things I believe he's going to do is remove a lot of the advertisement on mainstream media around some of the drug companies. He's going to also be looking to have a gold standard reintroduced around the way that we perceive medicine, the information that we get. We're going to get a lot more truth, and some of the studies that are being done are going to be more independent. So it's going to really shake up the system. And if you look at it for a moment, there are billions of dollars here to up for play. So this is going to really rock a lot of people. It's inevitable though, because as I said earlier, we are shifting out of the lies, the deception, the status quo, and we're moving into an age of truth. I like that it has been said in not only recent times through Trump himself, a golden new age for humanity, but this statement has been said by various Christian theologians. It's been said in Zoroastrianism as a prediction, a prophecy, the Hopi prophecy, the Mayan predictions, all point, and all, I don't want to miss this, is Dolores Cannon's teachings, all point to this specific time that we're in humanity's evolution, a golden age, an age of enlightenment. So from ancient prophecy to modern politics, we're speaking, we're synchronizing, we're lining up, and it's coming together. We're stepping into this golden new age. Now, I know we've got a few people here. We've got Janice and we have Aaron who are joining us in Hawaii. One of the reasons, and it coincides, not purposely, but just so happens to coincide really with this new administration getting in the US, and we're doing the Maui retreat at the same time because we're ushering in new energy. It's a rebirth. There was a devastating fire in Maui, as some of you know. I'm sure most of you are aware of that, and we've called this rising from the ashes, literally rebuilding, not just physically, but spiritually. Now, like myself, many of you have gone through years, months of adversity, of challenge financially, personally. You've lost loved ones. We've gone through the challenges. 2025 is about emerging from the ashes, finding our feet, finding our authenticity, finding our voice, and beginning to step out. It's going to take courage. It's not going to be easy just because we've won the war, the spiritual war I'm referring to. Yes, we've won that war. Spiritually speaking, we've won the war. The light has won. But there's a cleanup. There's a lot that has to be cleaned up. There's a lot that has to be dismantled in order for the new to be discovered, realized, and built. And that takes you. That takes me. That takes courage. That takes leadership. And I was having a session earlier today with Aaron, who is here in the chat today, about this reemergence, this rebirth. And those that really, I think, are going to lead the charge with this new earth, lead the charge with this, are those that have been doing the work. Because a lot of people are going to awaken this year and realize that they've been lied to, and they're going to want to jump out front and lead the pack. However, they haven't done the hard yards. A lot of you have. And may I suggest that those that have sacrificed, those that have committed, those that have been through the trials, the tribulation, the disappointments, that those are going to be the forerunners. Those are going to be the leaders in this. So I encourage you, if you've been through challenges, if you've been through adversity, 2025 is your year. This is the year that we begin to set in motion things right. Like I said, it doesn't mean it's going to be easy. There are going to be uh, throngs of the enemy that are going to thrash around and get loud. And even one of the things that I saw when I was tuning in is there will be resistance, even with some of the deportation out of the United States, because that will happen swiftly in the beginning. There may be some huge resistance to that, some attacks, some goings on, some shenanigans happening because they're in opposition to that. But we're setting things right. You know, America, for instance, is a great place of immigration, but it's important it's done legally. And so, what has been happening over the previous few years is that there's been this inversion occurring where right is wrong and wrong is right. And now all of that is coming into justice. And most people, I've discovered, are ready to ascend, ready for truth. Most people yearn for truth. It may not seem that way because often the voices that are the loudest get all of the attention. But we're really going to start to discover the intrinsic oneness in which we all embody. It's interesting that it ties into religion because what religion often teaches is worshiping deities, worshiping the divine externally. And this is a great way, has been a great way of really taking one's power away. You know, you don't need to worship a deity. You need to realize that you are the divine, you are the essence of the divine, you are the spark of the divine, and your worship is your action. Your worship is your contribution. And that is the teachings of Christ and the Christ consciousness in which he really came to represent, not to start a religion, not to demand worship, but to really lead the way of a new human evolution, a new consciousness, recognizing the intrinsic oneness that is pervasive through all life, not just in us human beings, but through our pets, the animal kingdom, the planet herself. And so this is what is going to become more and more readily accepted. Sure, religions will be challenged with that concept because often religion is about control and about taking control. And I know that firsthand because I grew up in the church. Do we have any comments? Let me know in the comments. Please like and share and subscribe and all of those things because that really helps get this message out. And I, like many others, are really committed this year to get more information out. This is going to be a big year. This is going to be a huge year for disclosure. That's another big theme that I'm seeing coming up, disclosure. Disclosure. We are not alone in this universe. Most of you know that. We've never been alone. In fact, they've been involved in our evolution from the beginning. We've already seen the increased activity in the skies. Now, I spoke in a previous video about this. There's a number of agendas going on there. So we have to be very careful. We have to use discretion. We have to use our intuition. And we have to be our own highest authority when we're taking in information. There's a lot of information that's coming at us 24/7 now. And this is a great exercise for you to begin to be your highest authority. Just because someone you respect puts out information, don't necessarily take it as gospel or truth. Really go to your inner knowing, and question everyone, question what I say, question every authority figure, because your highest authority is your own authority. And this teaching is found in all of the ancient wisdom traditions. It's found in the work of Dolores Cannon. It's found throughout the numerous sessions I've done with my clients when they discover that their higher awareness, their higher self is their highest authority. So this is a huge theme that is coming up for us. Even with me, like I read a lot of books, I listen to a lot of people online, and even those that I really respect, I still question all of the information. Sometimes it's 80% accurate and there's 20% that doesn't sit with me. So it's really important in these times, because there's going to be a lot of confusion. We're seeing a dismantling of a really old system. We're seeing a crumbling of an old system. There's a lot of truth coming out. It's going to get really quick at one point of this year with truth, particularly with the Diddy and Epstein lists. Boy, is it going to shock some of the normies when they discover the people that they idolized have been involved with some pretty nefarious stuff. That is going to be a hard pill to swallow for many. For most of you watching, you already know this stuff. You've done your research. You've gone within. You've understood that the reality that we've been conditioned in isn't even remotely close to what true reality is. And may I say that I think the most important question that you can be asking is, what is truth? What is truth? Not seeking a belief, not trying to believe something, but to really question and want to know with everything, what is true? What is true for you? I think if we pray, I think that should be our prayer, is to pray for truth, to pray for insight, to pray for intuition, that we see clearly. 2025 is about the year of the snake, the shedding of the old. It was only a couple of weeks ago that me and Aaron, who's in the chat there, went out on a day retreat and we found a snake skin on the ground. It was quite symbolic to see that. And I picked it up and just felt the texture of it and realized that was once the covering that snake had, and it had completely shed it. I only learned a few days ago that this is the Chinese zodiac year of the snake. So we are shedding the old reality, and we are emerging into a completely new one. Do we have any questions? Let me know in the chat. I'll read some of the questions now that we've got. Tammy says, I deal with a hat every day. Not sure what you mean by there, Tammy. Maybe you can clarify there. Hello to Janice. Thank you for watching. Maui is welcoming this new rebirth. Yes, and Janice has been so diligently supporting me in putting together this Maui retreat that we're doing. And I'm going to want to do this as a annual thing in Maui. I want to give people an opportunity to get together to do some of the breath work, the activation, the teaching. I'm going to be sharing on the new earth all of the insights I've been getting, because we are in really exciting times. I mean, this is going to be a year like nothing you've experienced. Let me tell you, I'm getting so many downloads. I'm getting so much information coming through about 2025. And this is a year you want to hold on to your seats. You want to buckle up, because things are going to get wild. And it's not just because the Epstein list is coming out and the Diddy list is coming out. Everything that we have known really is going to begin to crumble. This whole reality, this fake reality, this simulation, it's been destined for humanity to ascend. What does that mean to ascend? It really means to raise one's frequency out of a very dense three-dimensional reality where everything is pretty much heavy, dense. And it's really about freeing yourself from all of the constraints, the limitations, the obstacles, and the heaviness that comes with density, the heaviness that comes with three-dimensional reality. And it's rising above, and it is realizing who you are beyond form. When you realize that you are a eternal spiritual being having a human experience, your human body, your human form is your vehicle, and that's all it is. It's a suit of clothes, it's a vehicle, it's how you navigate this experience. When you know that, you cease to fear death. You cease to react to some of the things that you used to react to because you realize that you aren't the physical form. That is your experience. That is your vehicle. That is the set of clothes that you're wearing for this. So that is an important thing. Because when we let go of fear, when we relinquish fear, the next pandemic that comes along, and I've got information on this one as well, there will be another pandemic. Like the previous pandemic, it will be based upon fear. Fear, and it will particularly be expressed to mainstream that it targets younger people, that targets children. But it is, once again, a pandemic of fear. What can we learn from the last pandemic? It was about fear predominantly. So what do we learn? What happens in life? If we don't get a lesson, we what? Repeat. So we got an opportunity to do it differently this time. Collectively, we have an opportunity to do it differently next time, to perhaps learn to say no, perhaps learn to stay in our power and not succumb to fear. When you overcome fear, it's so liberating. One fear that that used to terrify me was being in an aeroplane. I used to be such a fearful flyer. I I think I feared being out of control. I feared the plane crashing, and there's actually been a few plane incidences recently. Until I learned to relinquish that, and I applied what I teach in many of my teachings to my own life personally. I fly a lot more regularly now than I used to, and I'm flying halfway around the world to Maui next week, or this week rather. And I just don't fear anymore getting on that plane because I know I am an eternal spiritual being. I know I'm here on purpose with a purpose. And so, what am I going to fear? When you come and you live your life from that perspective, boy, is it a game changer. And what is it for you right now? What you let me know in the chat. What is it that's holding you back? What is it that's stopping you? I'm sure it's a fear somewhere. Fear of inadequacy, fear that you don't have what it takes, fear. Someone said this to me the other day, fear of getting on a plane. I can't come to the retreat because I'm fearful of flying. 2025 is your opportunity to face those fears and realize who you are. Because you'll be unstoppable when you relinquish the fear of public speaking, the fear of not having enough money, the fear of failure, the fear of whatever it is, government, agendas that are playing out, all designed to cause you to fear, to what? Relinquish your power. And when you relinquish your power, you give it to someone else, government, institution, religion, whatever it is. Here is our opportunity to move with the momentum of this new arising consciousness, and that is to relinquish the fear and to step into your authenticity and power. And this is what 2025 is all about. It's about stepping into our authenticity, our power, our truth. Before I close the live stream, and this will be available as a replay, please once again, like, share this, comment. It all helps algorithmically people get this message. Any questions before I close? I want to get to a few questions if we have any. And if you're watching the replay, I will check in and answer any questions that people might have. I'll give it a moment. Boy, am I excited about this year. I really am. Janice has said the word that keeps coming up for her is power. Yes. And you are powerful, more than you could ever realize. And when you believe that, it doesn't just become an intellectual thing. When you believe that, when you live that, and when you actualize that, boy, does everything start to change. What's the worst thing that can happen? You fail, right? And if you don't ever attempt, you've failed because you never tried. So you're in the same position anyway. You might as well take action. You might as well step out. You might as well relinquish. And we're in for a huge year, 2025. I think this is the first video of the year that I've made. So here we go. This is starting off with a bang. We have an inauguration in 16 days' time. It's a marking. It's a marker of a shift in energy. It's a shifting from an old, and I'm not just talking about politics. This is energy. I directly speak to energy, not so much the political. What has Soren said? Hello, Janice, or I'd love to see you connecting there. And hello, Stacey. I missed you before. Great to see you join. And Kelly and Tammy. Great to see you again, Tammy. All right, I'll leave the video there and I'll see you next time. Great to see you all connecting there in the chat. All right, I'll see you next time I communicate.